it's been 3 weeks since we last did this thing.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it, though.
No. Yeah,
it feels shorter.
Took me by surprise a little bit, like how fast time has been flying. Well, I guess like a lot of stuff has been happening in the game industry.
Yeah. I mean,
surprisingly, a lot of stuff.
Yep. I mean, we've got the Oblivion remaster, which is I think running the graphical side on Unreal Engine 5, which I think it brings up some interesting questions about
Halo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically, the fact that it's running on the creation engine underneath it, and then it's
like an insanely souped up, modded up version of Oblivion, I guess, under the hood.
Yeah, and then they've got the Unreal Engine 5 running the graphics over the top of it, which is a very, I mean, I didn't know that the engine had the ability to do that kind of stuff, but it brings up some interesting questions, I think, in regards to Halo and what they could potentially be doing for, the rumored Combat Evolved remake or whatever it is that they're going to be doing, and if there was ever a possibility for them to, somehow do something similar with the Blam engine, but I don't think that's...
Maybe figure out how to take some of those Halo numbers, a little bit of code. See if you can just open up the hood of the Unreal Engine, stick some of that Halo stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with just the Havoc physics engine, to be honest, just kind of tune that a little bit so that it works similarly to how it did in, Halo 3 and Halo 2, and chuck that in there as well, and, I think we could be on for something good. It's, it's every possibility.
Make a nice little Halo soup.
Yeah, yes, good soup.
Oh my god, good soup. That's what you were talking about, right? The Adam Driver thing?
Yeah. Yes, good soup. But I think it also just opens the door for other potential remakes in the future that could be using Unreal Engine. I think it's very interesting that Xbox decided to, or Microsoft more broadly, decided to go with Oblivion, knowing that it was going to be, it's a smash hit, right? Like, it's done incredibly well with pretty minimal marketing. I'm not sure what the
No marketing at all. Well, I mean, there's
just
the launch day stuff, but they just said, hey, it's available now.
Yeah, and I don't really think I heard too much about it from the rumor mill beforehand. I think people knew it was coming, they just didn't expect it to
the world's most reliable leaker, the United States court system, is how we learned about the Oblivion remaster. Back when they were battling Sony in court.
Oh god, that's funny.
Yeah, that's how we learned that an Oblivion remaster was being done.
Microsoft, you funny guys. But maybe something similar could happen with that rumored Halo CE remake at some point soon. They'll just be like, hey, Halo's social channels will just be like, hey, there's something coming, and then boom, shadow drop, there it is. Maybe that's the strategy that they want to use going forward. I'm not sure if a Combat Evolved remake would quite have the same sort of cultural impact as the Oblivion one, just dropping out of nowhere. I think they would probably have to kind of ramp it up a bit more beforehand, but it'd be interesting to see if that's the approach that they go down, because I'd imagine that they would have saved untold millions on not having to market that thing and just dropping it for the world. Yeah.
I think it sounds kind of... Okay, so I think Oblivion is a different story from Halo, because Halo is like a 4-hour campaign, where Oblivion is like an RPG. And I don't think that shadow dropping a Halo Combat Evolved remake would set the world on fire in the same way that an RPG would, which is kind of like universal, and you can play that thing for years and years.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah, I think they'd have to...
I'm actually worried about the Halo Combat Evolved remake. Because if they do it 1-to-1, then people are going to complain that it feels too old. and this is coming as a fan of Halo 1, like new people are going to be not interested. They're going to complain about some of the confusing level design, weird backtracking stuff that folks, in the Halo community complain about all the time.
Yeah.
But if they change it too much, then the Halo community, who are currently still and forever out for blood, yeah, it's tough. I'm glad I'm not a developer on Halo.
Yeah. I think, I'm worried about the Halo CE remake. That's a great YouTube video title right there.
It's hard being a Halo fan, man.
It is at this point in time. I think that there's this kind of very awkward radio silence that's looming over things. I mean, obviously we've got the latest Infinite update, which we'll get to, but it seems as though in terms of actual forward momentum and what's happening after Infinite is still very much kind of up in the air. And I mean, we are getting some kind of, I guess, inklings from other franchises, of course, like Oblivion and the remake for that. But also Gears of War now releasing, or Gears of War Reloaded, rather, releasing for PlayStation 5, which again kind of ties into another rumor that was going around that potentially the Master Chief Collection or Halo Infinite or maybe the next Halo game would probably be releasing on PlayStation. And I think this, I don't want to say all but confirms it, but it definitely gives us a kind of inclination that, yep, this is the pathway that Microsoft are willing to go down with their Xbox releases. So maybe we'll see something happen.
They lost the console war.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, but it took them 10 years to admit it.
Yeah. It's like the longest admission of defeat ever. It's just like dragging itself across the ground like, I can still fight. I've got it in me.
It's like, wait. I'm not down yet. I don't hear a bell.
It's like the Black Knight from Monty Python.
Yeah,
off. Just a flesh wound.
Oh my God. You know what's bonkers though about Gears Reloaded? It's getting a physical release for the PlayStation 5 and PC, with Xbox being the only platform not getting one.
Oh. What?
Yeah. Yeah, that was me too.
But wait, so physical release for PC?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, did computers even have like disc trays anymore? Like, is that even a thing?
It's like, like the Xbox game is getting a physical release for the PlayStation and the personal computer, and not the Xbox.
That is bizarre. Okay, all right.
Well, I think it probably has something to do with just how poor like physical Xbox games are doing sales-wise. Like, I know Walmart here in the United States recently announced that they were pulling all of their they were just going to stop selling physical Xbox games because nobody was buying them.
Whoa. Okay. Fuck. I didn't know that. That's damn. That's cooked.
Yeah. It's pretty
chat. We are cooked. We are cooked. Chat.
If that's not a sign.
Oh. Damn. Okay. Wow. I didn't realize that. I mean, look, I've seen the Xbox disc aisle at EB Games and JB Hi-Fi, which is kind of like our. Just trying to think of what a comparison would be. JB Hi-Fi to what you guys have in the States. It's kind of like, imagine like a Walmart, but it's just like white goods and electrical and DVDs and computers and stuff. It's kind of like that, but its own little store. But for years now, the Xbox like aisle of games and stuff has been gradually shrinking more and more. Now it's a rarity to find any PC games getting actual like solid physical releases. But yeah, I didn't realize that Xbox was doing that bad in the States. I mean, for one of the major retail chains to just stop selling physical copies, like that is, wow.
To just stop pretending that things are okay.
Yeah, that's so grim.
Yeah,
wow.
they're, and I mean, sure enough, you go into, I think like pretty much our GameStops are the only place where I see big Xbox shelves. because everything else, it's just PlayStation and Switch.
No, that.
And then Xbox gets like a corner that has like an unsold Halo Infinite Master Chief controller holder.
Oh god, I've got that. I've literally got that. On my bedside table. I have it. I have like my watches and stuff hanging on it. Oh god, yeah, that, and like the Halo Infinite themed Xbox like 1 terabyte hard drive, or like the USB charging cable for your controller. Maybe they've got like an old like Halo Infinite Nerf gun, like the Mangler or the Bulldog or something that no one wants to buy.
Or the
That's it.
The Xbox Achievement Trophy light up stand.
The Xbox logo light up stand, yeah.
It's just going unsold on store shelves.
It's so rough, man. I remember there was a time when, you know, Xbox was the not to doom too hard, but you know, those big green lights that used to stand out in the stores, and you had the little console demos that you could play in stores and stuff. And man, we're so long past those days. That's that's
there was
rough.
like once upon a time when it was Xbox was the default. Like obviously Nintendo always lives in their own bubble, but like between the two systems, like dude, it's Xbox. If you're playing games, it's going to be on the 360. Like, you almost have to be really coy about the fact that you played on a PlayStation 3.
Oh yeah. When I was in high school, and you know, we were peak Xbox 360 versus PS3 generation. It was, you know, you get laughed out of the classroom for saying that you played Call of Duty on PlayStation 3. It's like, you got the DLC a month later than everyone else. You know, it was a different world back then.
And people would be making jokes about like, oh, you can't even play online because your PSN got hacked.
Yeah, that happened like once every 6 months. It was cooked. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to look at it from the perspective of, well, maybe the Microsoft store is just doing so well that they don't need to sell physical copies anymore. But regardless, like, the fact that they don't have the real estate for that anymore, for just physical Xbox copies, is so grim. I'd imagine that, you know, there's that old saying, you know, America sneezes and the rest of the world catches a cold. I think that that's probably what's going to happen soon in Australia too, because that Xbox aisle, it's not even a corner anymore. It's a singular shelf shared with the corner that also has PlayStation games on it now. So given
and the shelf has a bunch of stuff that's out of date, like the Dead Rising Xbox One re-release, not the remaster, the $20 re-release.
Oh god, I need to go to an EB Games at some point soon and take a photo and just like pick out of what's there. Honestly, there's more pre-owned Xbox 360 games sitting across from them that I see people browsing through than actual new releases. So yeah, it's crazy. It's strange times that we're living in.
Not to get totally off top. Well, no, it's still kind of relevant. The Gears of War Reloaded thing. Did you actually take a look at the screenshots?
I've seen some graphical comparisons.
It's just Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
With slightly less lighting bloom, I noticed. It looks a little more clear, maybe? I'd call it.
I was really excited about the idea of a new Gears of War remaster, because Gears of War 1 I love to death, and Gears of War Ultimate Edition I hate because of all the like weird artistic changes that they made. And to see that this is just the Ultimate Edition, it's not something like Oblivion.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. And I think, you know, if we want to move that similar kind of argument over to Halo as well, I think that there was an equal amount of disappointment when it came to Combat Evolved Anniversary and some of its artistic changes that I think it would be great to try and avoid again.
Ultimate Edition, I don't think is nearly on the same level as Combat Evolved Anniversary, because it's still like, you know, it's gray and brown, like it looks like Gears of War. It's more that it's where Combat Evolved Anniversary made it look like a completely different game. Gears of War Ultimate Edition just made Gears 1 look boring and toothless. It was like, you know, all that smoke that comes out of the chainsaw? Like, it's just so much black smoke when you turn on it. Let's just remove it. No smoke coming out of the chainsaw.
Oh.
Like, those are the kind of things that the Ultimate Edition did, where it was just the little details that made the original game so cool. They're like, what if we, like, don't include those?
That's kind of disappointing.
Like, Marcus Phoenix is covered up in scars, little places where he missed his shave, you know? So he's got patches of stubble here and there. Let's just make him completely smoothed over and clean shaven. With perfectly plucked eyebrows. It's like, just stuff like that.
Yeah, and really white teeth as well, because people living in an apocalyptic war zone are going to have time to clean their teeth. Yeah.
They the original Gears of War, it had this cutscene style that was actually kind of similar to Halo Reach's the sniper mission in Halo Reach. How the camera almost felt like an unseen third person that was following. The camera would bob with a footstep, and like the camera would have to leap over ledges and stuff with the characters. Gears of War 1 had that cutscene style for all of its in-mission cutscenes. Like the cameraman would have to kind of like bob out of the way and, you know, step aside from the characters as they moved about. And it was one long take. And for Ultimate Edition, they just completely got rid of that and just did standard style cinematic cameras with cuts and...
Damn.
Yeah.
Fuck. Even Gears of War fans aren't eating good. That's rough. Yeah, I mean, look, because I only played the first Gears of War not long after it initially came out. Like, I've always kind of enjoyed the series, but I haven't really paid as much close attention to it. Mm-hmm. I don't think I played Ultimate Edition either. But yeah, that's rough to hear that it was such a downgrade. You'd think that there would be enough of a negative reaction online that when they came to do Reloaded, they'd be like, oh, yeah, let's maybe not repeat the same mistake again.
Well, I think the thing is, it was so graphically impressive at the time, like the remaster or Ultimate Edition or whatever. Like, it looked like a good game. To the point that most people didn't even notice some of those things, because it's like, hey, it looks fine. It's gray and brown. It looks like Gears of War. Textures are nice. Unreal Engine looks good this gen. And it's only really the nerds that care about this stuff that were like, blah, 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 they removed the smoke from the chainsaw.
But you know, it's the small things that make all the difference. And if you're not, I get the impression that if the developers aren't willing to look into those things that give the game that extra sort of layer of character and personality, if they're overlooking that, then I just don't see why they should be the ones remastering it. You know, like surely there's someone else in the studio who's either a fan or just has a better recollection of what the original game was like. And presumably they've got to have the original game on hand to refer back to when they're remastering it and updating all this stuff. So surely it's something that they would notice. But I look, we ain't game developers. We don't know what goes on in there, but it's just one of those...
Listen, game developers, here's what you gotta do. Hope you have a pen and paper handy.
Yes. Let me just stretch out on my lovely armchair here as I get ready to backseat game dev for a bit.
Take the smoke and make more of it. Take the frame rate, make that higher.
Yeah, it really is just that simple. You know, more smoke, more frames. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah. Though this isn't a Gears of War podcast, I guess. I think the reason that we had Gears of War Reloaded written down was because there was suspicion that MCC was going to be coming to the PlayStation or Halo Infinite alongside a Gears collection of some kind, and we didn't quite know what was going to go on. Then this Gears of War Reloaded thing was announced, and it's like, oh, I guess it's true to an extent. So
Yeah, that seems to be the impression now. I think like if Xbox are willing to part ways with Gears of War, then it only seems natural that Halo's. Yeah, well, maybe not part ways, but if they're willing to let their second middle child go,
it kind of sounds like that.
Then maybe Halo will be next.
It kind of feels like the official tweet from the PlayStation Twitter account that was like, PlayStation fans, get ready to rev your Lancers. I felt like my heart was twisting into a pretzel knot. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
These words, can they be put together in that order?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be even like crazier when we see, PlayStation players get ready to finish the fight, it's going to be when that announcement comes, if it comes. Well, I think it's more so a matter of when than if at this point. That's going to be huge.
They're going to be they're going to be doing recon controls, and it's going to say press R1 to pick up the weapon.
Oh god. Oh yeah, those bumpers that I could never figure out what they meant. Or press square to pick up weapons, or press square to interact. Like, dude, it's gonna be,
or R3
it's gonna be weird
to do a thing.
Yeah, and just like the thought of playing Halo with the thumbsticks right next to each other and the D-pad off to the top left, like, it's just fundamentally incorrect. It's not how it's supposed to go. But yeah, I think if I really hope that if they're going to do Halo on PlayStation, that they just drop the MCC for it. Don't try and do like a segmented release, just do a remaster of Combat Evolved or something,
Okay, I thought when you said segmented release, I was having flashbacks to when MCC came to the PC.
Oh well, yeah, that too. That was also pretty rough.
Yeah, and it was like here's a broken port of Combat Evolved for the PC that now retroactively breaks the Xbox One version. Now we're gonna want to see us do it for Halo 2?
Yeah, you shoot at the ground and your damage just automatically goes and kills someone else.
The frame rate has been permanently tanked in the campaign of Halo 2 Anniversary. You're welcome.
Yeah, you better not try and load up the campaign on classic graphics and then try and switch to Anniversary halfway through, because your game will crash. So have fun.
And no, we will not be fixing it.
No, we won't. Yeah, it's I don't think they've actually done anything to improve that. I feel like playing Halo 2 Anniversary on PC now is it's a bit rough. It ran better
miserable
on Xbox One. It's so much better.
It used to run so much better on Xbox One.
Yeah. I'm not sure what they did in the back end to cook the books that much, but it is a bit grim. But maybe a PlayStation release will encourage them to, fucking fix a couple of things, right?
There's some things they could maybe go back and fix.
Yeah, it's whether or not they have the
resources.
Exactly. But presumably, if they've been working on this in the back end, right, surely they'd have maybe 3 or 4 people
over Halo Studios.
Yeah,
the Sustain team.
Yes, Sustain Team 2.
Get them on
it. Get them on it. Yeah.
They have only a couple of weeks to get it done. No, they can't have more resources.
No. Money? We don't have any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be great if they just dropped the MCC for PlayStation and crossplay as well. That would be great. I'd love that. I mean, surely they have to.
It would be a great, just like kind of injection of new players into the Halo ecosystem. It's so hard to find Halo 2 Anniversary matches right now.
Yeah, it's borderline impossible. I frequently, because I think Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer got a bit of a bad rap. I find it enjoyable. I think it's like there's issues with it. Sure, it's not really Halo 2 Anniversary as it is Halo 4.5, but I mean it's enjoyable for what it is. But no one seems to ever want to play it, and actually Infection on Halo 2 Anniversary can sometimes be quite fun. So to never find any matches of that anymore is a bit rough. But like, imagine being a PlayStation player and just having all these games to sink your teeth into, right? And all these different modes and stuff. You're not just getting campaign, you're getting firefight and the matchmaking and the customs browser and Forge and all these new things. Like, I think they'd be, I don't want to say overwhelmed, I don't think that's the word, but like, there's a lot there to keep them engaged for ages. So I think it would probably be a good boost to the population that might take a while to sort of taper out and subside, hopefully. But I just want more custom games, man. I want more people in that customs browser. I want to see some new creative stuff being dropped in there, and it's just gets me all fuzzy on the inside, you know. It's exciting to see new people play old Halo.
Yeah, so you just had connection issues. Your ping spiked to 5,000 milliseconds. You saw there was like an electronically distorted, like, oh no, like before your voice faded away into nothingness. And that could be an awesome segue into the release of Halo Infinite's new season.
That's a brilliant segue.
Server-related issues.
Oh, God, yeah.
I should probably preface this by saying the new update for Halo Infinite is actually, like, pretty great as far as Halo Infinite is concerned. But, man, launch day was rough.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when did it come out? May 6th? May 8th? Something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it was, like, unplayable for 4 hours. Well, all of Halo was unplayable for 4 hours.
Yeah, obviously some intern at Microsoft flicked the wrong switch and all the servers for the Halo games got temporarily clogged up.
Yeah, it was all the Halo games.
But funnily enough, it was only for some people, I think. It was...
Really?
Yeah, really. I was able to play MCC fine. But at the same time, couldn't hop on Halo Infinite. So... Yeah, just very, very odd timing that was obviously geographically, you know, affecting certain people in certain places. But big new update for Halo Infinite was probably, I think, the best in recent memory. A lot of people were looking forward to it. And for a majority of people, they just couldn't play it, you know? It
was the most active I've ever seen the Halo Discord.
Yeah. What, because they were complaining about the servers being busted, or?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, coming in. Well, I can't play game, and like literally the everybody above that comment was saying the servers are, but like all you have to do is scroll and read.
Yeah, the Reddit was popping off, and there was a whole bunch of other like outage detectors that I was looking at, and yeah, it was a really rough start for that season. And look, I'm sure that for the 25 people, well, no, that's selling Infinite's population a bit short. But for the people who were keen to jump back into the game, and maybe hadn't played for a while, I think that might have been a bit of a turn-off. So not necessarily the smoothest start to this new season.
It is. There is currently 3,630 players on Steam, at least.
Well, that's better than it was about a week and a half ago. So
yeah,
you know, we'll take the little victories when we can get them, right?
Yeah, the little victories. And I assume that you've got quite a few more players on the Xbox.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we can't really, I think, accurately gauge those numbers, but the actual season itself and the content that was in it is, for the most part, pretty good.
Yeah, not just like the oh my god, the season pass. Like, look at the cosmetic stuff. Like, the fact that so much was made free to earn this time with the exchange.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a free-to-play player, just hop on over to the exchange, and there is a lot to play and earn those Spartan points, and then use those Spartan points to get stuff.
But, you know, if you are so inclined, you can buy those Spartan points. If you want to spend 10,000 credits or whatever it is on 100,000 Spartan points or something like that. I don't know exactly what the credits to points ratio is, but if you want to.
they did the thing where they were like, we wanted to give players more options.
Oh, there it is.
To earn Spartan points. Does that option involve me giving you money?
There it is. Yeah. Please, just we're a little free to play indie studio, and our sustain team is they're eating carrots over there. We got to give them some proper food.
The sustain team has to work without air conditioning because Papa Microsoft's got to save a few bucks.
Yeah, they're in like a corrugated iron shack with an old desk fan. I'm picturing like a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of office situation, right?
Oh my god. Just junk and the lights are all off.
Yeah, there's just like a whole bunch of old Halo memorabilia just scattered around the place that they couldn't fit in the rest of the office.
Fazbear, but like a haunted Master Chief plushie or something. Oh my god, I see it in my head now. That is so beautiful. Like jazzware Halo toys trying to kill the sustain team at night.
One day they bump into Steve Downs in the studio and he starts talking and they just curl up into the fetal position on the floor and start crying. Man, Five Nights at Chiefs.
Five Nights in the Halo Museum.
Yeah. Oh god, that'd be terrible. The big Atriox statue starts coming after you.
You're looking at the little like security camera feed. It's like, where'd the Atriox statue go? It's not there anymore.
He starts lecturing them about used cars and getting the armrest on plane flights.
Oh my god, that Atriox statue is gigantic in real life.
Yeah,
it's genuinely huge.
It's scary. I mean, I haven't been to the Halo Museum. I want to, but it looks intimidating.
Yeah, they oh god, that sustain team. They bless them. They did a good update.
Yeah.
Like the server issues aside, like the customization stuff is great. I assume that they had to fight tooth and nail to get the exchange loaded full of stuff for people to just earn. Minus the fact that you can also conveniently spend a couple bucks to get some of those Spartan points. At least that's not the only way to get them. But even just things like adding the Avenger SMG to the weapon bench, as well as the Needler and the Heatwave and all of these other guns.
Yeah, it's good. It means that I can put my my red coating on all of them, and finally, have a uniform collection of painted weapons in my arsenal. I did see someone say that it would be really cool if they added some. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it'd be really cool if they added some more variety of like weapon kits to the weapons bench, especially stuff that's kind of cross-compatible, like with the AR. For example, being kind of cross-compatible with the MA5K. It would be really awesome if they could use the classic MA5 assault rifle kind of weapon kit on the MA5K, and basically
60 rounds.
Yeah, the 60, and basically have the CE assault rifle in Infinite. Like that'd be really cool.
That would be very cool. But there's also a part of me that it has to like almost hold back because I'm like, that would be really cool. Well, actually, it would just be cooler if they added the Combat Evolved assault rifle.
Yeah, pretty much.
As a sandbox edition instead of a cosmetic.
Bring back the angry bongo drum gun. I want it. Do it.
Like all of these cosmetic things are really cool. Like the weapon bench is awesome. It's cool that I can make the Needler look like a banished Needler now instead of a Covenant Needler.
Yeah.
But there is still that part of me that is just like, man, I just really wish there would be more weapons.
Yeah, I mean,
added to the game.
Yeah,
not cosmetics.
Yeah, we are kind of inching closer towards that, though. Thankfully, with the addition of the boomstick, as I affectionately call it now, the Mutilator.
Dude, that thing is cool.
The
Mutilator's really cool.
It's awesome. It's so good. It's a lot of fun.
It's great. Yeah, there's no like ifs, ands, or buts. It's just great.
Yeah. I honestly, I think, may I step slightly over the line, sir, and say that it is maybe a little too great.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun.
I'm happy you said it first.
Yeah. I'll take the bullets. I'll take the shrapnel for this one. I think it is maybe a little too good, but it is just awesome to have a weapon in Infinite that is new to the game and broadly just brand new to Halo in general. And
that's the big thing. It feels like the first new weapon added to Halo Infinite, because all the previous weapons, they were filling in gaps that were left by the great sandbox purge. Like, hey, the single shot rifle is back. Hey, we got an SMG back.
Hey, fuel rod gun, but actually pineapple, Lamau.
Yeah, they put a pineapple on a rocket launcher.
Yeah, the weapon turducken, right?
Yeah, the weapon turducken. That's yeah, but the Mutilator's genuinely brand new. I've never experienced anything like it, and it's also like, so shotguns usually are very defensive. Like, you pull them out as somebody gets close to you. You use them to lock down rooms and stuff, like fortify defenses. This shotgun like actively promotes an aggressive play style. Like, when you take it out, you got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of, I think, easing people into how you're supposed to play with the weapon with the Mutilator Juggernaut mode, which I think honestly is it's how Juggernaut should have been played from the start. Like, I can't imagine going back to just a boring gravity hammer. I want my shotgun, I want that option there.
The Juggernaut I have never been too into as a mode. Not that it's bad. Like, it's got its fans. I just prefer, like Oddball and stuff. But Juggernaut Mutilator, it is addictive.
Yeah, it is. It's I mean, look, I ran into some issues on some of the maps that I was playing with it. Like, oh god, what's that remake? Ascension from Halo 2. There's a remake of Ascension from Halo 2 that I was playing Mutilator Juggernaut on, and the amount of times that I would literally spawn in front of the Juggernaut running towards me. It was like, it was pretty terrifying. It's kind of this weird thing where if you get just the right amount of people on different points of the map, the game doesn't quite know where to spawn you. And so there were a few instances where I was just getting like smashed with that, that grav hammer attachment with maybe 1 second to spare. But otherwise, really, really fun game mode. And I hope it manages to hang around for a bit before it gets, discarded and thrown in the corpse pile of Action Sack or something. Because it's a lot of fun. It's even more enjoyable with friends. And if you get people with comms in the game, which I had happen a few times, just hearing the chaotic responses from other people, shouting and screaming and stuff, and how quickly they like they turn change teams almost. Like, the moment they become the Juggernaut, they're like, suddenly go from really friendly to, oh, I'm gonna chase you down, and it's like it's so much fun. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you capture. I got nothing else to add. Yeah, that's been my online experience as well. I think so. For those who haven't gotten into Halo Infinite in a while, this new shotgun, it was data mined 6 months after the game launched, and it was in a relatively unfinished state. And it's just been kind of sitting in this weird limbo for ages. Like, they're gonna finish it. No, they won't. Support has been canceled for Halo Infinite. No more new guns. Actually, it's coming back. And, well, finally, it's here. They finished it up. Whatever internal behind-the-scenes politics needed to happen, happened. And that weapon was able to get over the finish line. And it's a double-barrel shotgun with a gravity hammer melee attack.
Yes, a melee attack that I'm pretty sure has unlimited ammo, so you can just spam that thing forever if I'm correct.
Yeah, you can just keep swinging it, spamming it. So you've got like and it's got an alt fire where it fires both barrels at the same time. Like, it's just got so much functionality to it.
Yeah, I think 343. Oh, 343. There I go again. It's not those guys. It's not them anymore. Well, it kind of is, but not really. But yeah, Halo Studios really cooked with that one. And it's been interesting to kind of see its evolution from two rectangles that break apart with a loose kind of animation to suddenly this full-on weapon that, like, admittedly, it does reuse certain effects and features and sounds from other weapons in the game. But it's done in a way that is tasteful, and it's not like it's not immediately obvious to people who are picking it up and using it for the first time. It's not like the MA5K where you pick that up and it's like, oh, this is just an assault rifle with slightly new sounds, but otherwise the reload animation is the same and the functionality is different. Or worst case scenario, the pineapple. The pineapple launcher. This feels like a brand new gun, and it's honestly, it does a better job of doing Gravhammer stuff than the Gravhammer in the game actually does.
Yeah, I felt that as well, because the range isn't as crazy. Like, it's not as easy to just get kills with that melee attack. But the gravity range, I guess, is pretty long. So you're almost always throwing people with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of what a gravity hammer should be.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's mostly built for games like Griffball and stuff. So you're not going to be like killing other contestants. You're really trying to like throw them around.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure if I didn't get the time to test this, but I probably should have. But I actually like using the Mutilator to sort of displace yourself as well, like using the kind of physics involved with it to kind of move around a bit faster and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it affects you as the player using it as much as like previous Gravhammers, but it definitely just feels like it's more in line with those older Gravhammers. And
could it be because of the stat tweaks when you're a Juggernaut? Because you are faster and looser and slippery when you're a Juggernaut.
Just like I don't think I ever want to pick up the Gravhammer ever again. After having used this gun, I just don't have a desire to use it because it just does what the Gravhammer does, but better.
But more fun, more creative than Infinite's gravity hammer.
Yeah. It almost got me thinking, like, as a combination of weapons between a shotgun and a Gravhammer, like, is that potentially opening the door for other combinations of weapons that we might not have thought about? Like, could you have, for example, say, like, an assault rifle with an underslung plasma pistol or something goofy like that, you know? Like, almost get into like a weapon combining sort of system going forward. Like, is that a possibility for more weapons that we could see in Halo in the future?
You could. I've always like dreamed about the assault rifle. If you have it equipped, when you throw a grenade, you instead just launch the grenade out of a little tube.
Oh, okay.
An underslung tube, like making the assault rifle's unique gimmick that you can throw grenades further and faster when you have it equipped.
Yeah, or they like explode on impact or something like that instead of having a little bounce to them. Yeah.
The gravity hammer, I thought, so the direction I thought you were going to go in was modifying and enhancing already existing weapons. The gravity hammer, another dream, a weapon dream that I've had for the longest time after watching Tartarus throw Miranda, Keys, and Guilty Spark around like ragdolls in the cutscenes of Halo 2. It would be really cool if the gravity hammer had like an alt fire mode where you could drag items towards you or push them away from you.
Okay, like a Mortal Kombat Scorpion kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, something like that. Or like a Half-Life gravity gun. Like, it would just be really cool if you could, like, you know, suck over a fusion coil or a UNSC crate, and then you press the left trigger or something, you flip the gravity hammer over, and now you're force pushing stuff away.
Yeah, no, that's a cool idea, actually. That could Yeah,
Just
I'd be good to
exactly
see
like
that.
Tartarus in the cutscenes.
Yeah, almost do a like a Fist of Rucht sort of skin or variant, I guess, for the grav hammer that can do that. I mean, they kind of have the tech in the game already to do that with like the grapple shot pulling items towards you and then the repulsor to fling them away.
Yeah.
So it's like it's there. Like I guess the tech under the hood would be there to do that. You just have to sort of attach it to the gun. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
The Mutilator is really cool, and it's got my mind thinking about the Halo sandbox in a way that I haven't in quite a while, like because I've been kind of like a little bit bored, a little bit deflated.
Yeah.
And then the Mutilator is just like, it's like, you know, like a heartbeat monitor, like beep. It's like, oh my god, there's a spark.
There's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some interesting stuff is happening regarding Halo's weapon sandbox.
I think it also kind of brings up the question of this idea of combining two types of weapons together. Does that almost mean that in the future, potentially, we could see a Halo game where the kind of the shotgun stereotype weapon and the grav hammer stereotype weapon, instead of them being two different things, they just get combined together? Like, you just get the Mutilator as opposed to a shotgun and a gravity hammer, which would obviously piss a lot of people off. I don't know. Like, are we getting to this new era where we can kind of afford to do away with the weapon archetypes and instead of having the two separate things, we combine them together? Is that like a risky move? I don't know, but it's interesting.
What do you think about so the Mutilator, they got finished and out the door. And apparently there is reference to the carbine.
Ooh, yes.
Now?
Yes.
And it had a weird name. It wasn't called the carbine. It was like the something carbine. And it has people now theorizing that cut carbine might be making its way to the game.
Could be coming back. Okay. I mean, the carbine got pretty far along in development in Infinite, though. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a cutscene in, like, the first mission where you can see a brute holding one.
So I actually got to ask an Infinite campaign lead about the carbine and what the deal was there. Because you're right, it got a unique model that is not the Halo 5 model. And there's like different versions of it. Like, it's got like a lot of work put into something that was cut, and it's even in one of the Halo Infinite cutscenes.
Oh, I love story time with Late Night. Let's go.
Yeah, like one of the just random, like, oh, I've got some trivia about that.
Yeah, Late Night story time. Here we go. Let's go.
So the campaign lead, what he essentially told me was the carbine was never going to be in Halo Infinite in any meaningful degree, and what that model is it was developed during a point in time when whatever the next Halo game was going to be would possibly have a Ghost Recon Wildlands-esque attachment system. Where you could, it was like a different time for them when they were experimenting with different things, and they were thinking about like making weapons more modular, more Call of Duty-esque, where you could attach stuff, change the way the weapon feels and works and performs. Like, rather than finding a weapon to suit the role, you just take the weapon you have and make it into something that fits your combat needs. And that carbine was most likely floating around in the game engine from that experimental period in the sandbox's history. And he has no clue how it ended up in that Halo Infinite cutscene. It's just one of the weird things that happens. Like, for example, at the launch of Halo Infinite, the Brute Chopper, when you blew it up for no reason in particular, it would explode with a Forerunner shockwave.
Oh, yeah.
Just a Forerunner shockwave would emit from it whenever the Brute Chopper exploded. And it wasn't intentional. It was just one of the weird, like, code things that just happened. And that's the story with the carbine. So unfortunately, the carbine was not cut from the game last minute or anything.
It was just hanging around.
it was just like a ghost. It was like a ghost in the code that reared its head when we least expected it.
Interesting. Yeah, because I noticed it I think on like my second or third time playing the game, and I kind of had to squint my eyes a little bit and be like, wait a minute.
It's just holding an untextured carbine.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what's going on? And then I think I checked on the Halo subreddit, and I was like, oh, right, okay, so it's not just me. I'm not going insane. It wasn't a pulse carbine from a different angle. Like, that is the gun. It's there. But on the topic of that kind of carbine variation that you were talking about that they might potentially be adding back into the game, from the images and the leaks that I've seen of it from sort of earlier stages in development, it looks as though it's kind of going down a similar path to the Mutilator in the sense that it's a carbine, it's a weapon that we're familiar with, but it's sort of combined with an additional weapon. Like, it has almost like an energy sword bayonet kind of like on the bottom of it, I think.
So long-range weapon with a close-range attack.
Yeah, which is, again, similar to something that we've seen in Halo 5 with like all the Promethean blades and the energy, what do they call it? The energy, I don't know, I didn't play enough. Yeah, Lance or whatever. I didn't play enough Halo 5 Warzone to know. I didn't grind all them rec packs. But yeah, it's interesting how they're potentially bringing that back as an option, and again doing that kind of combining weapons thing. But I'd be interested to see if they actually do any changes functionally to the base carbine weapon, because Infinite has got quite a few sort of precision weapons already.
I can't even begin to think what they could do to make the carbine like exciting, I guess.
Yeah, because you've got the Stalker rifle, which is already sort of like the interim between a traditional sniper and what the carbine was. So it's like
it's sidekick, bandit, stalker rifle, commando, battle rifle. Like, there's so many precision weapons.
Yeah, it's almost kind of blown out of proportion at this point. Like, there's the town is not big enough for two of them, let alone all fucking 46 or however many there are. But I guess Infinite's kind of in its funny, goofy era, right? You know, it's getting a little silly. It's getting a little funny, right?
It's entering its funny, goofy era.
Yeah, it is. Like, you know, get a bit goofy, get a bit silly. So,
it got the clown shoes.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, like the pants that it hikes up to its chest.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the Mutilator was kind of a good example of that. Like, it's not playing things too seriously anymore. Like, can you imagine if Infinite came out, like, and the Mutilator was a weapon in the sandbox? Can you imagine the competitive community's reaction to that when they got so pissed off that you could one hit melee someone after shooting them once with the Mangler? Like, they would be fucking livid. There is no way that weapon would have survived.
That's actually such a good point. I'm sort of happy that the Mutilators come to us now, because it would have been nerfed into oblivion.
Yeah. Oblivion.
No pun intended.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as entertaining and fun as a weapon as it is now. But because we are in this era where, you know, a certain portion of the community, I think the competitive scene it's still there, definitely, but they're largely, because the game is so old, they're not taking it as seriously as they initially did. I think that we can afford to have some more goofier weapons added into the game. And maybe that's what this carbine is going to be. You know, it's just going to be a little bit of fun. It's probably not going to be anything that's too groundbreaking and innovative, but hey, it's the carbine. I like the carbine. It was my favorite weapon in Halo 4 to use as a loadout class, so it'll be nice to see it again.
You were a carbine user, were you?
I alternated, right? When the game first came out, I was the DMR pleb, but I switched over to the carbine because I was like, no one's using this, and it's actually a lot of fun, and I can just spam the trigger. But yeah, it'll be good to see it come back, and with a little energy sword bayonet on the bottom there, like, you know, it could be fun, could be cool.
One of the other unfinished things that is speculated to come to the game is the Falcon.
Oh yes, I remember how big the leak was for that when people started finding it.
Yeah, the Falcon is essentially, for those who are out of the loop, it's basically like a Warthog of the sky.
The best air vehicle ever. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's got your pilot seat and then 2 gunner seats on each side of the vehicle, and it's just kind of like a helicopter.
Yeah, it's a very cool sort of, I guess you call it like a VTOL, right?
Yeah.
And it fixed the problem that I think a lot of people had with the Hornet in Halo 3, and the reason why Bungie just did not put it in any of the multiplayer maps except for
one
Avalanche, I think. And even then they took the missiles away from it because they knew it was too OP. Is the fact that Halo's vehicles and the vehicle sandbox works best. And the Warthog epitomizes this. It works best when you have multiple people responsible for doing certain things, so certain actions of the vehicle. Like in the Warthog's case, you're driving, but you don't have any weapons at your disposal. You're reliant on someone else shooting the gun or getting in the passenger seat to, carry the flag or bring a heavy weapon and shoot it out that way. And the Falcon kind of fixes the problem of the Hornet in the sense that, again, you have a pilot, but you can have 2 people on the guns on either side. So it's kind of broken up, and it gives players their own little experience, their own little niche to fill while they're doing it. And it's just good for team building, and camaraderie and stuff like that. So it's fun in that regard.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head, like what makes the UNSC vehicles, I guess like the soul of the UNSC and its vehicle sandbox is that almost all of them are built around encouraging cooperation.
With the exception being the Scorpion tank, but that's,
Well, even the Scorpion tank, you can ride on the side of it, you can get into the turret.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that the little tiny machine gun is the most important part of the goddamn tank, but
yeah, that 90 millimeters of tungsten, who cares about it? I got a machine gun go brrr,
It's usually the Covenant and the Alien vehicles that are like one-man killing machines, because usually they're just piloted by a single AI, like your Ghosts or your Choppers or your Banshees or something. But in a campaign environment, but also a multiplayer environment, loading a bunch of guys up, whether they're Marines or players, into a Warthog or a Falcon.
Yeah, I think that's
just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. And I think it's the kind of vehicle that I think Infinite is missing to an extent, because we've got the Warthog there, we've got the Razorback, they're both great, they're both a lot of fun. But the Wasp, to me, has never really stuck
the
out.
Wasp, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just kind of...
It's just a UNSC Banshee.
Yeah, it's just boring. Like, I just don't have any kind of attachment to it. And that could just be because it's a more recent vehicle and stuff. But I've never resonated with its design. I just don't particularly... I don't know if you played much Big Team Battle when the game initially came out, but on high-powered, the map with the wall in the middle and the ditch, and there's the wasps that spawn at either base... That was a big issue on that map when the game initially came out, is people were just waiting for the Wasp to spawn because it was so good, and it was arguably too good. Like, if you had a good pilot in that thing, it was almost borderline impossible to take them out with what...
Ironically, it was like the same issue that the Hornet had.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost...
The driver also has the guns.
Yeah. And like in the case of the Banshee, it's one thing because it's kind of always moving forward. Like, you can't sort of stay stationary and shoot people like you can in the Wasp or the Hornet.
And the plasma, you can see it coming. You can dodge the plasma fire.
Yeah. And of course the fuel rod, which is its secondary fire, it's kind of got a drop to it. Whereas the missiles on the Wasp, they tracked vehicles. So it was just, it was too good. And I think, I don't know if they've removed the Wasps on high powered or not. They might have. But yeah, it was just too good of a vehicle. It was disrupting the way that map played. And if you got like a sneaky person who would go around to the back of the enemy base and take the other Wasp, and so they had 2 Wasps, it was game over. You might as well have backed out. Like, it was not enjoyable at all. But the Falcon in many ways fixes that problem because, again, it's not entirely dependent on one really skilled player. You have to rely on other people in order to do their jobs too. Which just makes it a superior vehicle, in my opinion.
I think the Wasp it's unfortunately kind of like a design limitation of Warzone from Halo 5.
Yeah.
Because Warzone and Halo 5, all the aerial vehicles spawned in the air already in motion. So you could just get right into the action and stuff. So I'd imagine, like, for a Falcon, if you were in Warzone in Halo 5, you'd have to spawn the Falcon, it would appear in the air, you'd then have to go down to the ground level, and just kind of, like, float around in circles, hoping somebody is going to get into the gunner seats. And in Warzone, most people are spawning with rec weapons, and they're going to want to run around and kill things with those. They're not going to, spawn with the Answer Saw variant and then be like, you know what, never mind, I think I'll get into the passenger gunner seat of your Falcon.
Yeah.
Like, so it was just one of, like, Warzone, unfortunately, the rec system encouraged the only sandbox editions to be very self-serving, like selfish, get a bunch of kills and feel good type editions. So that's where things like the Wasp come from, where it's just, the Wasp is a singular power fantasy for you and you only.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. I never considered it, but yeah.
I have no idea why, when they got a fresh start with Halo Infinite, they were like, let's just keep using that thing.
Yeah, why not? People aren't going to hate it. Yeah.
We got Marines in the campaign, but who needs them?
Yeah, fuck, that's another good point, eh? Like, you've got the Marines there, and they can't drive any vehicles, but they can get on the passenger seat in the gun, so...
They're like, yeah, like, let's make all the aerial vehicles for you and you alone in the campaign.
Yeah, it's just a very odd creative choice.
Odd sandbox choices.
Yeah, but the Falcon, on the other hand, in Infinite, does look very promising. It's been in the code for ages. People have, leaked everything there is to know about it, and last I checked, it was almost in a completed state, aside from, like, some sound effects and the sort of the movement of it being maybe a bit too smooth. Like in Reach, the Falcon kind of had that sort of floaty weight behind it when you moved it.
Like the whole thing would tilt in the directions you were going in, and it felt heavy. Yeah, helicopter-esque.
Yeah. Whereas in Infinite,
where this felt, it felt like it was like hovering with like anti-gravity technology.
Yeah, it felt a bit waspy in terms of the movement, which is not what it should be. It should feel a bit hefty. But it does have, from what I could gather, and this is an idea that I really liked. It has a chain gun on one side, so your typical Halo chain gun. We all know it, we all love it. And then on the other passenger side, it's actually got the grenade launcher from Halo Reach.
Is that what they did with it?
Yeah, so this might change. This is subject to change, but the last version that I saw of it had a chain gun on one side and the grenade launcher on the other. Now, those of you who have played Halo Reach know that the grenade launcher has a secondary ability where it EMPs vehicles. So you get one person EMPing the vehicle, and then they can quickly swap around and use the chain gun on it to shoot it while it's EMP'd. I just think that's a brilliant idea.
Play.
I just think that's brilliant.
Multiple uses.
Exactly. And
sandbox.
Yes. And if you want to be really, really smart about it, you don't even necessarily need two gunners. You can go with one person potentially, and because you can swap seats in Infinite, you can get one guy.
Oh my god.
Going on the grenade launcher, swap over to the chain gun, finish him off, and there you go. You swap back and forth. If you get a really talented gunner, they can go back and forth on it. Like, how good is that? It's fucking brilliant.
That's cool.
Yeah.
God, that's cool. I hope that they finish it then.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited for it because the Falcon is one of my favorite vehicles. And it's just been such a cock tease seeing it in the code, almost ready to go. Like, it's in the game files, it's almost there. It just needs a few extra polishes.
I can almost taste it.
Exactly. I can that metallic, that diesely tinge, that I imagine the Falcon tastes like. It's right there. I can smell the exhaust fumes.
Yeah. Just want to stick your face right in one of those afterburners.
Yeah.
breathe in whatever exhaust it gives off.
Yeah. I don't have a problem, I swear. But yeah, it's a great vehicle, and I hope it comes sooner rather than later, because that'd just complete the package. And for a game like Infinite that has relied so heavily on Reach nostalgia, like all of the armor at launch, the Bandit coming back, a lot of cosmetic kits that are based on armor or like concept art from Halo Reach, it just seems weird to not complete that triad of Reach stuff with a proper Reach vehicle. So I'm looking forward to it. It'd be great to have it in the game. So Halo Studios, if you're listening, I'll even do the sound design for it. I'll record it myself with my own voice, and you can add that into the game.
I'm really good at impressions.
Yes, I can make a great Falcon impression. Yeah.
We should probably mention, like, a big part of the update is also, like, store stuff.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about the store stuff?
I mean, it's kind of surface level. There's some interesting cosmetics that they've added. There's a couple of callbacks to, I believe it's Headhunters. There's like an armor from like an SPI armor kit that's based on one of the not Halo Legends. What was it called? Halo Evolutions short animated things. The SPI armor from Macworld, from pre-release Halo Combat Evolved, which
cyborg armor.
We were having a giggle about this before, but it looks like it's in a constant state of shock.
Yeah, there are these available for purchase is the Halo pre-release armor from when Halo was owned by Steve Jobs, or almost. And yeah, there are some very odd patterns on the visor that kind of make Chief look constantly like the like, what is it, like not surprised emoji,
but it's pretty
like
close
shocked.
to that. Yeah, shocked.
Yeah, it looks a lot like that.
Yeah, it does look a bit goofy, I'll admit. I think that 343 have this tendency to want to, like, sometimes add extra detail on things that don't necessarily need it. I think a good example of that would probably be like Chief's visor in Halo 4, where they kind of changed the shape of the lines and stuff and added all these little sort of extra bits in the hexagonal pattern and whatever. The original Macworld armor was very much just like a blank, obviously because, technological constraints at the time, but the texture for the visor was just this kind of blank, textureless but reflective. It was
just like a sheet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And they did a variation of it in Halo 2 Anniversary, which looked pretty good for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've done the same thing here, and they've just put these goofy lines on it.
They just. And now he's constantly looking shocked, surprised, or scared / alarmed.
Yeah.
By something.
It's a bit of an odd look, but otherwise the rest of the armor looks really cool. And in future releases for seasons, it looks as though they're going to be adding in some armor from Halo 3 as well, which is great. We've got the EVA, Rogue, and Halo 3 EOD, which is different from the other EODs because it has little beady eyes that peek through the back of the helmet. And
the EOD helmet.
Yeah.
That where did you ever see the famous Halo 3 machinima, Batman in Halo?
Oh yeah.
That's all I think of when I see the EOD helmet in Halo. I think of that machinima.
I just think of my friends cosplaying as stormtroopers. They used to get
that too.
Yeah, EOD, all white armor, and that's what they used to do. And Rogue. Did I mention Rogue? No, Scout. Scout is the other one that's coming back as well. Mm-hmm. Halo 3 Scout, which is really cool. So we've kind of almost rounded off the entirety of the Halo 3 armor collection, except for Hayabusa, which I think for certain licensing reasons probably won't be making a return to the game anytime soon, but it's
as well as Recon.
Yes. Oh yeah, and Halo 3 Recon. Yep. There's a bit of
Halo
Halo.
Reach Recon is just not the same.
It's not. No, it doesn't quite have that same angular, aggressive-looking shape that made Halo 3's so iconic. I've summoned him. And there's some Halo 4 armor in there too. We've got the Raider helmet, which has seen a slight redesign, and then there's Wetwork, and I think...
which apparently has fans?
Yeah, I was never a big fan of it. I thought it was a bit funny looking, but people like it. And Venator, that's the other one. That's got the kind of triangular, I don't know how anyone would see out of it, looking visor. But yeah, it's cool to get some OGs coming back. But
oh gosh, we're calling Halo 4 armor OG.
Well, it's over 10 years now, man. It's been a while. But yeah, it's the cosmetics, they're fine. They're fine.
They're fine.
Yeah, there's not really too much to report in that regard.
It's just the money aspect.
Yeah, they are.
Would you pay money for these?
They are a bit steep, I think. I mean, look, the Halo 3 stuff I might, because I just have a very, I'm gonna out myself here. I have a very strong attachment to the old EVA armor. I think it looks awesome. And every Halo game since Halo 3, in my opinion, has just never quite done it justice. So I'd be keen to maybe pick that one up. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not really too interested in it. I think it's the value proposition is just not there. It's too expensive for this stuff. So I'm not personally interested in buying too much of it.
It's what bums me out a little bit about the battle pass, or the operation pass, I guess.
Yeah.
I like that bandit kit. The one that apparently looks like Halo 3, like the art style.
Yeah,
they said.
A little bit. I can kind of see it.
I struggle to see it a little bit because with Halo 3's UNSC stuff, I think, oh, okay, so it's gonna have like little tech lights all over it,
little triangles.
And I don't see little tech lights.
Yeah,
but like that thing looks cool, but the Promethean Bulldog, I don't really care about that because I want the Bulldog to look like a UNSC weapon. I don't want it to look like a Covenant weapon or a Promethean weapon,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I can't justify getting the battle pass because there's going to be a bunch of stuff in it that I actually don't want. And I wish that there was a way I could just have that bandit kit.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about all this other stuff. Well, and the EVA. I'm also there with you.
Yeah.
I want the EVA. But everything else I don't care about. I don't need Wetwork. You can keep it.
Yep.
Same with all those other things. Like, you can keep them. I don't want them. And because of that, I think I'm going to skip out on this battle pass because it's a lot of value for somebody, probably, just not for me.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. I think I'm in a similar boat where it's, does it justify the price when there's some things that I'm really interested in and then others that I just don't really care for? I think that's, as much as we might rag on the monetization of Halo Infinite, there is one exception that I would be willing to make in terms of an addition that they could make to the monetization model, and that's if they were willing to part out with certain parts of the Battle Pass or store bundles for a certain price. Like if for example, the Dutch armor set that was in the store for the previous season that had the M6 Magnum skin for the sidekick. Really loved that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really care too much for the rest of the ODST stuff. I would have loved to have been able to just buy that sidekick skin on its own.
And Dutch's armor does not look that good.
No, it doesn't. I think
I did get it because that sidekick skin. I was like, I'm weak.
Yeah,
I'm too weak. But yeah, that ODST helmet. What did they do to you?
Yeah, it looks like he punched him in the jaw or something. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's an ODST helmet that needs to mew.
Yeah, got to chew on some gum or something, or one of those Kong toys, right?
Just no chin. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Like there's got to be a compromise.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with the idea of like individual things being parted out and stuff for a certain price, and maybe they can charge slightly extra for them. Sure, like have each item be like, 200 to 500 credits each or something like that. I don't care if it's $5. Sure, that's okay, but I don't want to have to spend 20 to get all this other crap when there is just one thing that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I think they could potentially go about it in a similar way for the battle pass. Like if there's something that's locked behind a premium reward path, and you complete the battle pass and get to that tier, and you just want this one item that's part of the premium pass that you can't get because you haven't got it, then just let me buy it. $2 or whatever it is. Like I did the work to get it, but I don't want everything else. So just let me have that. And you can get a little bit of change out of it as well. That's fine. But I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure if that'd be very profitable for them.
That's probably where the business folk have learned over time that they'll get more money out of just bundling everything together and having a couple of people spend $30 on these insane bundles versus if they just like let you spend $2 for a specific thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the whales are more profitable.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's testing your resilience, right? Your willpower, Like are you a man of strong moral fiber who will not give in to this, who stand strong by their convictions and won't spend $20 for like the one or two things you want in this bundle, or will you cave and will you get it? I mean, admittedly, there have been a couple of instances where I have, and I'm not always proud to admit it, but like that particular weapon skin or that particular helmet, man, I just, I really wanted it. I really wanted that security helmet, but everything else in that bundle looked like shit, but I wanted the security helmet. God damn it.
You got the security helmet?
Yeah, I did.
Were you proud?
What did it cost?
What did it cost?
Too much. And now
Do you still wear it?
No.
Yup, there we go.
And now I see that they're doing like a different version of the security. Oh, they're doing the Halo 3 security helmet too, I think. Version. Which is the proper one that I always wanted. And it's like, oh man.
They did, though. They made a small modification for legal reasons to it. And I'm sure you know what those reasons are and what the modification is.
Maybe we should dial in Luke real quick and get him to give us the lore explanation. We know
you're the resident marathon lore expert, as we've established.
Yeah,
in the prior.
Yeah. Yes, the Reclaimer symbol, or previously the marathon symbol on which was. Well, for the longer explanation, the security helmet from Halo 3 is based on the security officer helmet from Marathon, which is Bungie's previous first-person endeavor before they started development on Halo. And so that little symbol that is associated with the Marathon pops up a lot in Halo lore and throughout the series of the games. And it was kind of recontextualized to be the symbol, the Forerunner symbol for Reclaimers. And for whatever reason, it pops up a lot in various different parts of Halo, and it's got a spot on the helmet of the security helmet because, again, it's based on the security officer's helmet from Marathon. But because, legalities and things, it's been changed slightly. But otherwise, it's still very similar to that Halo 3 classic security helmet, which is good. I liked that they didn't change it too much, but it does make me feel like an idiot for buying the older version.
Yeah, the Marathon logo was redesigned, or the Reclaimer symbol was redesigned in Halo 4, and it does look like a kind of, if you took the Marathon logo and when I say add too much detail to it, that's what you would come up with, the Halo 4 Reclaimer symbol. And it looks like with this new re-release of the Halo 3 security helmet, they have swapped out the Marathon logo to their new updated Halo 4 Reclaimer glyph.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting though, right? Because I think that the Halo 4 Forerunner design style was already very busy with a bunch of needless floating bits and chunks. So it kind of reflects that
cinematic realism, Hollywood aesthetic for everything.
Yeah. So it's I guess it kind of fits in with that, but it does make me miss the original a little bit.
I wish that there was a way that they could go back and make a new reclaimer glyph. Because I think you don't have to make it 1-to-1 with the Marathon logo. Well, I mean, they legally can't.
Yeah.
But surely you can make a new logo that is similar but artistically consistent, like with the same simplicity in mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that difficult, right? It's just, what are we saying as, again, armchair game developers?
Yeah, listen. Hey, artists.
Yeah, listen up, buddies.
Pull up some chairs.
Yeah, it's just a circle inside another kind of half circle. But there's a bit of an inconsistency, I want to say, in terms of like the Forerunner symbols for things, because they kind of have their own language, and there's another type of symbol that they use a lot in Halo 1 and 2 and 3 that's kind of, again, very like symmetrical shape based, but it's not as simple as the Marathon kind of design. And then they get another language again in the Combat Evolved Anniversary in Halo 4 terminals. It's like there's a lot of different sort of changes that happen to the Forerunner language and their design aesthetic. So it's difficult to kind of pin it down.
There's a piece of trivia that I can pull out of my brain for you.
Oh, another late night story
Yeah.
with Late Night. Here we go.
Yeah, here's like another little bit of just like, this information could have been reserved for something valuable in life, but instead, here it is. Paul Russell said a while ago that the symbol for the Eld, it's just like a series of like geometric lines and stuff. Like it's just like a Forerunner symbol that has taken on important lore connotations under 343. But once upon a time, that symbol called the Eld, it was literally just the symbol for a silent cartographer.
Oh.
That's all it was. And Paul Russell said that on Twitter, and he was pleasantly surprised that 343 took this symbol he just made to signify a map room. It has now become like the most important symbol that like signifies their whole culture, the Forerunners.
God damn. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of it's interesting how that sort of passes down, and there's maybe a bit of a misunderstanding, but it's a cool symbol. It's yeah.
Paul Russell drew some cool lines.
Yeah, he did. He drew a lot of cool lines, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, not some. He drew a lot of
he drew a lot,
cool lines. You're right. You're totally right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, sort of in summary, I guess it's a good new season of content for Halo Infinite overall. Would you say?
Yeah. God, that was a tangent.
This is what we do on this show.
What do you think of the Academy mission? Defend the Academy.
Oh yeah, God.
What do they call it?
I almost forgot about that. Academy, defend the thing, story mode,
Yes.
firefight, capture the base.
Exactly. That's it's a bit of a wordy name, personally.
Yeah.
I maybe would have come up with something simpler, but yes, the Academy defend the story mode invasion.
Yeah, that feels like it's maybe about a year later than it should have been. It's it's kind of weird that the last time we had a proper kind of story progression for Infinite's live service and the multiplayer was a while ago, but now it's sort of all come together, I guess. For context's sake, the story for Infinite's live service has been about this banished AI called
Iratus,
that's it. I was gonna call him Irritation, but that's close enough.
Do you think that was deliberate?
Look, knowing Joe Staten, I think it might have been. But yeah, so there's this banished AI, and they bring it to this Spartan training academy, the Sergeant Avery J. Johnson Academy of Fun and Games and Sticks and Rocks or something. And this AI goes a little out of control. It gets a little freaky, gets a little a little trigger happy, and it possesses some Spartan armor, and then that causes the infection game mode, and then they lock it up, and then it comes back again, and during that period of time, it sent a signal off into space that you could see on the main menu, and now the Banished are here. So it's that's kind of the explanation, very poorly worded by myself. But yeah,
no, you got it. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Just like goofy little Banished AI.
Yeah,
nobody took him seriously, and then he caused a whole bunch of chaos.
Yeah, and so now the Banished are here trying to I don't know, just level this Spartan training academy, I guess, and these new sort of firefight, I guess they're almost like a linear progression campaign mission to an extent. But again, it's made in Forge by members of the community, so it's it's good stuff. It's like there's a little sort of I guess like don't go into it expecting it to be a AAA developer made campaign experience, because it's not that.
It's made in Forge.
Yeah, it's made in Forge. It's limitations, but it's fun. Like it's cool,
and it's crazy what they were able to achieve.
Yeah, I think so. And you can tell that a lot of love and care and attention went into making it. Like and it cracked a smile on my face to be playing an official kind of continuation of Infinite's live service story, because I was always a little disappointed that it kind of went out with a whimper rather than a bang.
Right as it started getting really good.
Yeah, there was some really good story cutscenes that they made for this story cutscene that they made for this story. Fucking hell, God. And it was kind of veering off in an interesting direction, and they stopped it kind of just short of when it was getting good. And so now we're, I guess, kind of getting the conclusion to it, because it doesn't seem as though there's really been any other kind of lore drops or tidbits explaining it further.
What's really cool about the battle for the Academy is, like, again, prefacing it with it's made in Forge, because I feel like so much of the conversation is about it being made in Forge. Look at all these limitations because of the Forge mode. And like, yeah. But looking beyond that, thinking about like the combat pacing, the level design, even the encounters, it's cool to have like a linear Halo combat experience again. Because the last time we had that was the linear missions in Halo Infinite, which were kind of a letdown. Like, it's just cool that there's like Marines running around, and there's little set pieces and cool moments. Like in the Battle for the Academy, like the jetpack brutes get their own kind of like introduction when 3 of them all lined up kind of jetpack over a building and land right in front of you. And then from that point forward, you start seeing jetpack brutes in combat. It's like, they got an introduction there.
Yeah, it's like one of those moments that if you saw
it's
it
like a campaign.
Yeah, like if you saw that in like a Bungie campaign mission, there'd be like a little music sting to go with it, right? And then it'd start playing through for the rest of that sequence. I was actually really pleasantly surprised by some of the like the scripting and the coding that they had done in order to get certain things to work. Like there's this moment where you're walking through the academy. It's towards the end of the level, and there's like this big, like massive crater that goes through this room, like a multi-story room, and you think, oh shit, where am I supposed to go? Then suddenly a drop pod lands through it, breaks the ground
and it's
underneath
a chieftain.
it. Yeah, and it's like, all right, this is like, that's the kind of stuff that, you know, with the budget limitations and the technical limitations that you have on Forge, you'd think that would be really difficult to pull off. But they managed to do it. And like, even though it's not quite in the same cinematic sort of style as a campaign mission, and if it had the resources there, you can still kind of get what they're going for. And there's almost like a suspension of disbelief where your mind can kind of piece the gaps together and be like, yeah, this would have been, you know, this is cool. I can see what they were going for.
What about the door, where the door is an opening and then the door just blows up?
Oh yeah.
And like the door itself goes flying. It'll probably kill one of you or your teammate or something.
Yep, that did
happen. And then
happen.
if you step over the broken down door, and the room beyond it is like a crater, or like it's full of like smoke and fire and debris, you know, because there was an explosion. And it's like, this is cool. There's like art.
Yeah, there's like environmental storytelling and there's thought put into it and stuff, and it's cool. And at the end of one of them, where you have to sort of go through and you have to blow up these, like, I guess they're sort of power generators or something for the base's computer. And they just
because you're destroying all the data so that the Banished can't get access to it.
Yeah, and it's like it's fusion coils in the wall, but it's like it looks cool and it works.
You know what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
They're supposed to look like weird power coupling things that you shoot.
Yeah, and
the fusion coil is a stand-in for it.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that sort of same ingenuity and ability to overcome the creative restrictions that you saw a lot in like Halo Reach and Halo 4's Forge, right? Where, you know, if you wanted to make a door or something, it'd be a trip mine half phased through the wall and you'd melee the button and this connection of fusion coils would blow up around it and it would cause the shipping container to move out of the way and you've got yourself a door. Like it's good to see that level of thoughtfulness and ingenuity still present in Halo Infinite's Forge, even though we are so far away from that now, where we've got scripting and all this other stuff that you can do. And yeah, it put a smile on my face. And even though it's only 2 levels, it was fun. I do have, you know, some certain gripes with it. Like, I think that some of it's either the first or the second mission, there's a lot of kind of like waiting on the doors to open, and that got a bit tedious after a while. But for the most part, like Spartan, what's her name?
The Spartan commander.
Yeah, the Spartan commander. Some of her sort of like voiceover and narration throughout the mission is like a bit
so disconnected.
Yeah.
It's like it's objective commentary.
Yeah.
You know, she's talking about, like, you know, point B secured, and like she's supposed to be screaming about how the academy has to evacuate and you guys need to scrub, but she can't because they don't have, you know, voice for that. So all they have is her talking about objective point A reached, and like it's a multiplayer match.
Yeah.
It's just so out of place.
Yeah, the tone is not quite there. The energy and the vibes are very different than what's actually happening.
Would have been for the best to just not have any voiceover at all.
Yeah, I think that might have been the call, actually. Yeah, and also the XP earn rate is not very good for completing those missions either. It's pretty bad.
Atrocious.
It's like 800 or something I got from one of them, and it like barely was like a bee's dick of XP in the grand scheme of things for my rank. So yeah, I hope that they go back and fix that, because Firefight is like the best way to level up in Halo Infinite. I've found you can just go to town on Gruntpocalypse or something and get a whole ton of XP for it. Yeah. So there's not really
legendary.
Much. Yeah,
Gruntpocalypse used to be.
Yeah,
and then they nerfed the XP distribution.
Yeah, it's still pretty good though.
And
like it's all right.
I don't think they're gonna fix the XP, because they said that they would investigate it with legendary, and they didn't. And there's a part of me that thinks that there is some kind of hard limitation with it. Like, part of the reason that Gruntpocalypse legendary difficulty got nerfed, the XP, was because they grouped all the firefights together into one playlist. And I think because of that now, like, the XP distribution is unified within that playlist. Before they were their own independent playlists, legendary, heroic, and stuff. And I think probably it has something to do with the fact that they disabled, like, the medals for this battle for the Academy. You can't get double kill, triple kill, and stuff.
Oh, you know, it's supposed to be campaign, yeah.
Yeah, they want it to be more immersive, so they deactivated a lot of that, like, XP distribution, like, objective captured, plus 300, you know, all of that HUD stuff, and it probably translates under the hood into just nothing happening.
Yeah, so then there's no XP that's getting...
So there's no XP after the match is over.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see if, when this kind of battle pass and this event and stuff are done, if they move it into the broader firefight playlist potentially, or maybe even make like a new sort of linear firefight or campaign playlist style thing. And if they fix the XP earn rate after that and maybe re-enable the medals or something, that would be good. And I think making it worthwhile and playing and stuff, because I think it's no secret that the Halo PvE community, specifically people who enjoy the campaign experiences, they've been very much starved of stuff to sink their teeth in for a while. So having firefight there is great, but I think having something like this as a proper standalone playlist for them to hop onto and potentially get some community members on board to make these sort of linear Forge experiences with AI on them, I think could be really cool. So maybe it'll have some longevity in that regard. That would be nice.
It's weirded me out that folks are, I guess, upset about the reliance on Forge for the post-release content. I mean, not in the sense of, sorry, my brain is so scattered right now. How do you feel about the use of Forge? I guess I'll start with that.
How do I feel about the use of Forge? I think that it was really the only logical way they could go about keeping the game together. I guess part of me is disappointed that we aren't getting more developer-made, curated experiences that have that kind of extra level of sheen and polish on them. And I think it does make it's a tricky conversation as well, because if Halo Infinite going forward is just going to be the Forge game, right? Like everything is going to be reliant on Forge, and the new experiences, the new maps, and to an extent the new modes too. There's kind of the issue of paying these people and stuff, and that's a whole other complicated discussion that I think could go on for ages. But I you know what? I don't know how I feel about it. To some extent, I'm happy that Forge is getting so much of a front and center kind of representation in a Halo game, but at the same time, it does bum me out because it feels like Halo Studios have kind of just like passed on the torch, and they're not really interested in investing in those experiences that used to be front and center of Halo, whereas now it seems as though all their resources are being diverted towards cosmetics and the battle pass, and on the odd occasion a new weapon or something. That kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. That's just my 2 cents.
That was an insanely nuanced take.
Well, I mean, very scatterbrained, but yeah,
a lot of things to consider there. Based kind of the same. It is disappointing that they pretty much have leaned entirely on Forge for the new content. Like some of this, the fight for the Academy, could have been cool if we had actually proper voice acting. I guess it also could have been cool if, things turned out a little bit differently for Halo Infinite's live service. But I guess some of the anger at Forge content confuses me, because what is Forge for, if not exactly this?
Yeah, and it feels like
making content.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Like making content after like proper development live service has kind of concluded.
Yeah, I mean, that's how all the old Halo games got their longevity, is by the community-made content. Like especially Halo 3, Reach, and 4, and Halo 5. Those games all managed to last for years longer than realistically they should have, after the DLC for them had stopped, because of those Forge creations and the fact that people were just, cooking mad stuff in their parents' second bedroom or in their basement, on a late Saturday night, thinking, yeah, it'd be really funny if I put 100 golf balls with a bunch of heavy man cannons behind them shooting down a long corridor and make people try and run through it. Like just stuff like that has managed to keep the Halo pulse beating, as it were. And now that we are so far away from that in terms of what Forge's capabilities are and the fact that you can basically make your own campaign experiences out of them, I think it makes sense for it to have more official representation, because, I mean, credit to Bungie, right? They had their moments when it came to giving the community these tools and stuff to make things. But in terms of actually giving them a platform within the game to be shared and shown officially, outside of the file browser late into the game's lifecycle, there wasn't really all that much. But 343 and Halo Studios have been like, yep, fuck it, we're just going to make this the key playlist for several months, and it's all Forge stuff, or it's all Forge maps, or something like that. So I think there's plenty of arguments to be made that it's a good thing for community representation, but yeah, at the same time, it does feel like they are leaning a bit too hard on them.
Maybe a solution would be not necessarily like no, more money has to be pumped in, which means no content will be made because Microsoft won't do that because Halo Infinite didn't do too well. Maybe the solution would be like adding more ways to polish Forge creations. Because like a lot of the stuff people complain about in regards to pacing or even the look of Forge could probably be solved with more in-game tools for the Forge mode.
Yeah, a lot of it seems to come back to like lighting and just sort of extra detail and stuff that when you're making an experience that big with that many different sort of scripting and coding things happening in the background, the appearance and I guess the flow of it doesn't necessarily, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it's kind of a second priority to actually getting the core foundation of what the experience is in there, as opposed to, you know, polishing all this stuff after the fact. But yeah, I think there's probably room for some new tools to be added in there. Part of me also thinks that it might be it might be a limitation of the previous console generation, maybe.
The good old Don Matrick.
Yeah, the old Matrick Box One. Yeah, because I'm not sure if you could really push the Xbox One hardware too much further than they already have when it comes to the Forge stuff. Like, it's already optimized very carefully. I think, you know, if they wanted to add an extra layer of grease or grime onto some Forge pieces, it might blow a fuse in the old VHS player.
The Kinect will just combust on top of your TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm no game developer, as we have very clearly outlined in this podcast, but I think that could be a possibility for why it's so rough. I mean, look, even running Halo Infinite at high resolutions on 60 frames per second, the game looks like Play-Doh. So I on Xbox Series X. So I don't know. It's rock and a hard place kind of stuff here. You know, if they could spawn in any more rocks, that is, which I don't think they can.
Oh, we completely skipped over the hilarious pistol cosmetic.
Oh, yes, of course.
Two
sticks and a rock.
2 sticks and a rock as the sidekick, which is a reference to the Johnson quote.
Yes, yeah. We had 2 sticks and a rock, and we had to share the rock. It's
and they thought, that is a hilarious joke. It's very funny. Let's sell it.
When I first saw it, I had literally, like, I didn't have any context behind it. I just saw this weird, like, magnum that looked like it had been made out of a tree root. And I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
This is odd. And then I saw what it was called and I got the reference, and suddenly it was like, oh, right, okay. This is an interesting kind of, you know, interesting thing to do, but...
What next? Are they gonna make like a Dustin Echoes Warthog?
It looks like Dustin Echoes Warthog. Oh man.
Yeah, that's the stuff where it's like, okay, this feels borderline exploitative.
Yeah, it's getting a bit too self-referential, guys. Let's maybe rein it in.
They sold me. Effectively, like, it worked. They made me buy Halo 1 Master Chief for $20, and even I have to say this like reference to a Johnson joke being sold is like, okay, this is too exploitative.
Yeah, it does feel a bit much.
I'm trying to think of what else they could possibly do.
Like more inside jokes within the Halo community and stuff, or like old lines that they could.
Yeah, just super obscure. Like they'll have like they'll sell a sticker that says "Icon has recon," and the sticker's $5.
Yeah. Or this cave is not a natural formation.
Oh
themed.
my god! Yep, it's gonna be a keychain, and it's literally like the cave prop from Reach's Forge mode. You know, the arch rock, and it's called Natural Formation.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. We've hit peak consumerism.
Yeah. Gosh. We're making jokes. We're making jokes in good faith, but it's good, the new update. It's fun that people are having fun with Halo Infinite.
On the topic of the update, I think that there is maybe a discussion to be had about the naming conventions, which I thought was... I think there's been somewhat of a discussion about the name Last Stand. Now, obviously, that is in respect to the Academy, right? And we're taking our stand against the Banished here. But I almost feel like there might be a double meaning there. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I'm wondering if you think this, if this might be... There have been a few kind of false flags where we've thought, oh, maybe Infinite's live service is winding down now. Like there was a period, I think last year or the year before, where it seemed like the updates for the game and the cadence for those updates was winding down, and then it picked back up again, and then it kind of...
And then suddenly the Mutilator.
Yeah, and suddenly the Mutilator. It's like, oh, okay, new gun, cool. This sort of, I guess, trilogy of battle passes, Last Stand, I think it's... Legacy and Reclaimer, they seem to be kind of rounding off in a way with a bunch of nostalgic references to old games. You've got all the old armor and stuff. Do you think that, like, we're 4, almost 5 years departed from the initial release of Halo Infinite? Already it's had a pretty sizable, I guess a longer than expected post-launch support, I think, for a lot of people. Do you think that maybe this is kind of like, all right, we're at the stage now, it's been a while, there's rumors circulating. Could this be like, maybe not Infinite's last hurrah, but like the subtle fade out to, this is the game as it is now, this is what you have, enjoy it until what comes next?
Yeah, so they, folks, who data mine, have noticed that not a lot has been added since the Last Stand update, like in the game's API, I think is the term. Usually, like secrets aren't kept too well because stuff is added in and then they can data mine it and see, oh my god, look at all of these new cosmetics that were just added. That they haven't announced, and then we kind of get a vibe about what's going to be coming next. And this is the one time where it doesn't seem like a lot has been added, and it doesn't look like there's much in the way of new additions coming. So I don't know. I have a weird feeling in my stomach about, on one hand, the Falcon. What are they going to do with the Falcon? Yeah, it might be coming back. Apparently, it got updated or something. It feels like they're just getting started with the Mutilator, but they're being so careful about the way that they say things that we genuinely don't know what's gonna happen in 3 months when this Last Stand season is kind of over.
Yeah, and it feels like, again, it's... Part of me gets the impression that things might be winding down properly for real this time, because there is a thing that I've noticed in life where when something starts to get really good, it's just as you kind of hit this peak, this you get to the top of the precipice, and it's like, oh, this is awesome, and then suddenly there's this kind of downturn, and it's like, right, that was the peak. Now we're kind of heading towards the trough. There's like all this kind of opportunity and stuff that you see, and then suddenly it kind of winds down. It kind of, I don't want to say it flatlines, but things kind of taper out a bit. I get the impression that Infinite, now that it's kind of hit its stride, we've got a great new gun with the Mutilator, we're getting all these new cosmetics and stuff that I have wanted for ages, that they're going to be like, okay, this is it now, and we're going to slowly start to go back down again. You know, like we see all this opportunity on the horizon, but in actual fact, you know, it's just the horizon. You know, you're not reaching it. It's it sounds a bit morbid, but yeah.
Infinite is not going to have a second comeback. Like, continuing to dump money into live service production of this thing that can only sustain a couple thousand players on PC.
On a good day.
On a good day. After, like, what, year 4? And things haven't improved? Like,
yeah.
It does make financial sense, I guess, to, like, leave the game on a high note and then pull the plug. Rather than, like, hey, we finally hit our high note and the player count has not increased, but at least those playing are happy.
Yeah. I think there's almost like a layer of, I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but there is kind of a layer of entitlement, I think, in the Halo community to be like, oh, we're the last people standing, we deserve all this extra stuff. When, like, that's not how business works, bud. Like, it's just,
unfortunately not.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But you make a good point about ending on a high note, and I think that it's what you mentioned about the API was also kind of what I was alluding to, because I haven't seen or heard much from the leakers community in terms of new stuff coming, which does paint a bit of a grim picture. But, you know, if this is the note Halo Infinite goes out on, I think that it's okay. I'd be willing to walk away from the game with somewhat, you know, way more positive in terms of my takeaways than a year ago. I'll say that much.
Yeah, in especially like this recent update, like, there is some genuine, like, passion behind it. Like, we make the joke all the time about the poor sustain team.
Yeah.
Fighting tooth and nail, accepting all of these budget cuts so they can keep working, but
in their little Five Nights at Freddy's shack, yeah.
Yeah, like, having to fend off the Atriox statue every night as it waddles out of the Halo Museum to get them.
You just hear it stepping around saying, "Clean up your mess." You know, just
they're trying, and there's that story from that Halo developer ages ago who was one of the folk fired by Halo Studios or 343 or whatever they were at the time.
Yeah.
And he said that morale was pretty damn grim behind the scenes. Yeah. They would go down to the testing labs for, like, infection or whatever, and they'd just be like, why are we bothering? Like, they're just gonna hate it. And it's like, here I can feel that it's like, I appreciate it, live sustain team. I see you.
Yeah.
I see you and I appreciate you. This is a good update, guys.
Yeah. I think it's just such a bummer that all of this stuff just came so late and took so long to finally come together, and it's so
much bloodshed.
Yeah, it's just a bummer. And I think that, you know, if there is one thing that I hope Halo Studios takes away from Infinite, it's that, if nothing else, it was a good learning experience, right? You guys tried your hand at a proper modern day kind of equivalent to a live service game. You know what that entails now. You know what the free-to-play model and what the expectations are surrounding that. If you want to go down that path again, which fucking fingers crossed they don't. I don't think they will. Like, there's a lot that comes with this if you want to try and compete with the big dogs. So maybe in future, don't. Just like, first and foremost, just try and make a game that's gonna be enjoyable, that's gonna have some longevity right out the gate. Don't try and follow what other people are trying to do.
Build it and they will come.
Exactly.
As the saying goes.
That's the terminology I'm looking for. Build it and they will come. It's a weird state right now for the Halo community. But hey, you know, if we're gonna have this is the last kind of hurrah for Infinite. It might not be. We could be completely wrong. We should preface that.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, they're going to be like, so about the next Halo update, bubble.
Yeah. We're going to have 3 new guns.
Guess what, boys? Campaign DLC's on the way.
You're going to fight Atriox.
You'll never believe it. Player count's up by 3,000,000%.
Big team battle, more like bigger team battle. We got 100
Joe Staten
players.
is back.
Paul Batone's making the campaign DLC. We got a battle royale now. Extraction shooter with ODSTs. Wow.